Hello, it's Lucy. Welcome back to my channel. So, I'm standing here in front of this mirror because it's the mirror that I have occupying my wall space above my buffet hutch. And I love the mirror. I bought it a couple of years ago. I think this mirror is a little bit too small for its space. I'm sorry. It is so hot here. It's unbearable. And I have all the fans on, so you might hear that on the background, but it still doesn't work. So, you're going to see a lot of this going on throughout my video. But anyways, I digress. I go out walking every morning, as I've mentioned before, and just chilling against the fence was a mirror that belonged to a bureau. And I don't understand why people throw away these mirrors. I mean, I know everybody's not crafty, not everybody's into the DIY, but I found this mirror, which is a pretty big size, as you can tell. And it belongs to a bureau. It's a child's mirror because it has some kitty stickers there. But this is the perfect size mirror that I want to put right there. Let me see if I can kind of reach down so you can see the full length of the mirror. As you can see, it's pretty big, right? Cut off my head, but that's okay. So we're going to take this baby and we are going to do something wonderful for it. So I'm all set up here in my family room. That's where I'm going to be working out of. I have my mirror on top of my pool table. One day in the future, I will have a designated space to do all my DIY projects, whether big or small. But for now, this will have to do. So I have our mirror here and I need to start cleaning it up. And I want to tell you what I actually want to do with this frame around the mirror. I do not want to paint it. I know most people like to paint it, and that's great. I've done that before. But I actually want to try something new, something that I haven't done before, and that is to decoupage some fabric onto the frame. So this is going to be a first time for me. And let's see how that works out. But I don't want to just decoupage any fabric onto this. I want to use faux leather. Here I have some faux leather that I actually used to reupholster my stools in my kitchen. And I had some left over. It was pretty pricey. I mean, it's not cheap even though it's faux. But hopefully I will have enough. But just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's a camel color, deeper camel color, and it has some texture to it. So I'm loving that. And let's see, I think, fingers crossed, I think that I'll have enough. If I don't, I'm gonna have to do a Walmart run, but I think I'm gonna have enough to do this project. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully it'll turn out good. For the adhesion, I know that people use Mod Podge for the decoupage project. But where I'm working with a faux leather in this frame, and I've never done it before, I thought, well, maybe I may need something stronger. Maybe I didn't, but that's just me. I want to work with something that's going to be adhering really good and really quick adhesion. So I picked up this Gorilla Spray Adhesive Heavy Duty. It's a spray, as you can see. According to this, it bonds to fabric, paper, wood, plastic, cardboard, foam, metal, and more. So we have our fabric, we have our wood, and we're good to go. I read the instructions. According to this, I'm going to be spraying the frame and also the fabric. Then I'm supposed to wait about a minute and then apply the fabric onto the wood frame. And it's supposed to adhere pretty quickly, right? It's supposed to bond to it really quickly, which is what I want. This is why I bought this project. So I'm going to give it a whirl. This was about $7, so it wasn't bad. So we're going to be using that. And I also got my little scraper here that I normally use with my Cricut projects, but it has a nice little foamy end there so that I can really get into those crevices and creases from the crown molding of the frame, if you will. And I got my measuring tape. I believe I'm going to be using my star screwdriver, and I have a couple of different utility knives here. And so let's get to it. Let's clean this baby. But I did want to mention something else. Before I take this ledge off, I did notice that it has like that composite board in the back, and it has screws attached to it. I'm sorry, I am dripping here. I'm going to try to remove that to see if in fact I can remove the picture, not the picture, but the mirror. That will be like perfect, because then that means applying the fabric to this frame would make it a lot easier. Because I'm a little anal, and if things don't look the way that I want it to look, I'm like, So as far as I'm concerned, you know, this is going to be either a beautiful flip or a horrible flop. We will see. But, you know, I'm learning, and you're going to learn along with me, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to try to do that first and see if I can remove the mirror. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I actually can, because that would be like just beautiful. So let me work on that. And then the other thing is that hopefully we can get through this without breaking the mirror. I do not want 7 years of bad luck. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this mirror off and set it aside. So I have my frame here. I cleaned it up as much as I could on this side. So we're just going to flip this over and clean our frame here with just some furniture towelettes, like I call. Now we are going to measure out. We're going to measure out the width of the length and the width of the frame. 4 inches. This is about 8 inches, so we're going to do like a 9 inches. That way we have a half an inch on either side of working. Let's take our frame and put it aside. Let's get our fabric. Oh my goodness, I hope I have enough, because that's the other thing, right? So that's 8 by 39 inches. I don't know what I was thinking before. And I'm just gonna cut it down straight the middle. You know, whatever's left over, then so be it. I'd rather have to cut extra fabric off than to be short on either side. So I'm gonna start by cutting this. Hopefully my scissors work, because I can't find my good scissors. Okay, this is fine. This will work. So I went ahead and I cut my 4 pieces. I barely made it, but I made it, and they're going to fit on the opposite side, of course, just fine. I was okay with cutting them a little extra big, because I'd rather, like I mentioned before, cut excess than to be short. Now, another thing that I did, because I've never used that Gorilla Glue to craft anything with, a little old decoupage, which is, like I said, my first time, I went ahead and did a little swatch. And so I cut a little piece and I applied it here. And let me tell you, this adheres almost instantly, and which is great. But that means I really have a little short amount of time to adhere this. So I'm gonna have to spray little by little until I'm able to apply one piece at a time and be able to get it in the grooves without making a mistake. This has no room for error. So like I said, this is either gonna be the best flip I ever did on a frame or the worst flop. Okay, so I have my full fabric strip, and I have my little squeegee, and I've kind of centered it to see exactly where I want to apply this. The other good thing about this is that the pattern is continuous, so I don't have to worry about matching it up with the other side, because it just doesn't make a difference. But Here goes. So I apply this, and I'm just going to use this little squeegee to kind of help me adhere this onto it. And use my hand as well. So we're gonna just slightly lift it here, even though it has so this does take a little bit of patience, because you have to keep forming it into the grooves until that glue starts to dry. And so this is going to take some time, but if you want it done right, you have to keep working at it. As you can see, it's coming out really, really nice. Here I went ahead and I cut it right across. It's a nice clean line, so hopefully when I do the other part, it will join nicely. But if not, I got an idea for that as well. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over, because I'm going to finish gluing this to the under part. So I'll be gluing this onto this side. Now we're going to do the opposite side. Spray that there. And run my utility knife across to cut this excess here, because so I finished applying the faux leather to the frame, and I think it came out pretty good. Let me give you a close-up. So I cut off all the excess on the outer part of the frame as well as the inner part of the frame on all four sides. And wrapping the corners was a little bit tricky. I did the best that I could. I will be flipping this the other way so you can see. So I came up with two possibilities on how I wanted to deal with the seams here on my frames. I wish it came out clean cut, like they joined beautifully, and I would have left it at that, and I would have been so happy. But of course, it didn't, and that's okay because this is the first time doing this, and so, you know, you gotta figure it out, right? So I came up with two ideas. One of them was to possibly use these upholstery tacks. They're really pretty. They are honed there. And I said, well, I could use 10 going across, like so, like, you know, tacking them into there. And that would be nice, but it's not really the look that I was going for. I kind of wanted it all nice and clean without using this type of embellishment. And then I thought, well, I'll make these strips, right? So they're the same faux leather. I kind of fold it on the back side into each other, as you can see the seam there. And so the other side is like this. And attaching this like so, going across like that. And that actually looks pretty nice. So I asked my husband which of the two was better. He said that this would look better, and I quite agree with him. Now, in terms of the glue, because then I said this is going to be really tricky, right? Because it's one thing to glue this back part of the faux leather onto the wood. It's another thing gluing the same sides onto each other. So I went ahead and did a test with the Gorilla Spray that I've been using to decoupage the faux leather onto the frame. And unfortunately, this is what happened. It doesn't really bond very well. And I had this drying for quite some time, and it's still, I could literally just peel it apart. So that was a no-go. So then I said, what else am I going to use? So I actually have this on hand. It's called Loctite Super Glue. The package comes with three. Two of them are the same. They're the Ultra Gel Control, which basically means that it gives you a little time before it actually dries on contact. And then you have the Ultra Liquid Control, which is basically like your regular Crazy Glue. So I went ahead and applied this in part of it, but you know, I think I just didn't have the patience, because if I could like pull it apart within, I don't know, 30 seconds, and to me it's like a no-go. That's just not bad, right? And then I used the Super Glue Ultra Liquid Control, and that bad boy look like Crazy Glue, right? Well, that's what it is. It bonded so well that you could literally peel. If you pulled it, you would rip the top coat. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna I decided to use a thumbtack to tack it in the back, only because this is a little curved. And then I'm going to ever so gently apply some, and I'm going to tack it on the back side as well. So that's what I'm going to start to do, and let's see how that works out. So I'm going to go ahead and tack it right in the very corner right there. Hopefully these tacks go in really easily. So I'm just going to hold it here. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So this is how it's looking. You bring the camera down like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and do all the other sides. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the frame over and decide what I'm going to do. I'm either going to tack the back side, or I'm going to glue it and then cut the excess off. I'm not sure yet, because I still have to take account of how the mirror will sit in the groove. So I'm actually going to glue it by the looks of it, and then I'll just cut the excess off. Just kind of hold it there in place while it bonds. Yeah, I think that's the better thing to do, and then I can just cut that little excess piece there off. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue all of my corners. So I got my knife. Let's go ahead and cut that excess off. Okay, so I cut all of the corners out, as you can see here. You see the little corners right there? So I put the mirror in successfully, all is good and snug in the frame. And I had my husband put these little hooks on there, or they're not so little, but these nice little hooks on here so we can hang it on the wall. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put this on the way that I took it off, and I'm gonna be right back with the big reveal. And here she is, hung up above my buffet serum, absolutely loving it. It definitely came out a lot better than I thought. Let me give you a close-up. I am loving it. It came out so good. I am so happy that I was able to find this and customize it to my liking. Absolutely in love with it. So I hope you enjoyed my video on how I flipped a mirror that belonged to a bureau that I found in one of my many morning walks. I'm sure this won't be the last one, but this definitely came out really good, and I am so pleased with it. So if you guys are thinking of throwing away a bureau because it's just not working for you anymore, but it has a mirror, don't throw it away. Turn it into something wonderful. Decoupage it, paint it, or even leave it as is. Give it a nice wipe down and find it a home on one of your walls. I'm sure you're going to like it. So if you love my video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and also stay tuned because I will be uploading some more DIY videos, some bigger projects that I have been working on. So until then, take care, God bless, and goodbye.